You're listening to the VegasTourist.com podcast episode number 226, New Year's Eve, CES and The Monorail. Hello, folks. Welcome back. I am Mark Anthony, and this is the VegasTourist.com podcast, and I am flying solo today. Debbie's off doing whatever Debbie's doing right now. Yes. The end of 2016. What a year this has been for Vegas and the Vegas tourist here, but, you know, 2017 just can't get here fast enough. It's just wow. What a year this has been, both for the city and also for us, I guess, too. So, we're going to focus on three things tonight. We're not going to do what everyone else is doing, the look back, the best, the worst, you know, what I liked, what I didn't like. It's Vegas. Everyone else does that. Screw it. I'm going to talk about moving forward. This weekend, 320,000 people are expected to come into Las Vegas to celebrate New Year's Eve. Right after that, 150,000 people will be in Las Vegas for what is called the Geek Fest, the Consumer Electronics Show, or as they want to say, it is called CES 2017. And then finally, what ties the two together is the Las Vegas Monorail. Yes, I have an interview with the Las Vegas Monorail at the end of this podcast. Miss Jennifer Breed is going to do the honors. She is the sales and marketing person over there at the Vegas Monorail. Got some things going over there, some expansion plans. They have some New Year's Eve plans, and of course, CES really kind of stresses them out because that's 3 or 4 days of 100,000 people, and a lot of them do use the monorail during that period. So that's right, folks. 320,000 people are in town for New Year's Eve. When New Year's Eve falls on a weekend, that means Christmas also fell on a weekend. And man, I forgot just how busy this town gets when it's bookend like that. From last weekend to this weekend, the crowd just has not died down. The traffic has not died down. Wow. Over the weekend, those 320,000 people are expected to spend over $215 million, not including whatever it is that they gamble. Rooms at the MGM for New Year's Eve are only $399. The Venetian is asking $599 for a room on New Year's Eve. For those of you that remember, back before the big crash, before we hit the big reset button, New Year's Eve, a room at the MGM, I remember that going for $600, $700, $800 for a room at the MGM. What's kind of interesting is, New Year's Eve, MGM, 320,000 drunks out on the strip. Rooms for that same room at the MGM that is selling for $399 on New Year's Eve will sell for $550 during CES. We have 100 more rooms this year than we had last year, according to the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. We have 149,476 rooms in the Las Vegas Valley. Woo-hoo. The cool thing about Vegas and New Year's Eve is that's the one time that you can actually walk down Vegas Boulevard, literally walk the strip, and not get run over by a angry cab or a lost Uber driver. It's just, that is one of the coolest things. Up on the website, thevegastourist.com, under news, I made a post up there about the lane closure or the road closures. They start to close the ramps off of the I-15 at like 5 o'clock. The entire strip is closed by 6 o'clock. All of the resorts put up their barriers there, and they start to do that duck pond down the middle, and then usually about 9 o'clock is when it starts to really fill up with the partiers, and that's when the real show starts. And then I normally go home by that time, and I watch all of the goofy folks, because this is next to Times Square. This is the largest New Year's Eve party, and it gets pretty crazy down there. But this year, my beautiful wife and I, Miss Debbie, will be actually down on the Strip. Actually, we'll be up on top of one of the buildings up there photographing the amazing fireworks. So look for some great updates during New Year's Eve, and following that, hopefully to have some really cool photos. What is really cool about all of this is it ends at 2 a.m. And then down by the Welcome to Vegas sign and up by the SLS, there's these crews, just this wall of people and machines, and they go right down the Strip, and they clean it up. And by 6 a.m., the Strip looks like nothing happened. It's just awesome. The fireworks are going to be shut off from the tops of 7 resorts: the MGM Grand, Aria, Planet Hollywood, Caesar's Palace, Treasure Island, the Venetian, and the Stratosphere. This year, plastic cups and containers are the only way that you're going to be allowed to drink alcohol on the Strip. No large bags, backpacks, or knapsacks. Things that can hide liquor are prohibited. You will be searched. That's going to be fun. I am going to have to get some photos of that mess. The monorail will be the only real public transportation system running along the Strip. They will actually stay open until 3 a.m. If you stick around and listen to my interview with the Las Vegas monorail, Miss Breed there talks about the party that the monorail plans on having. You can watch the fireworks from the platforms up there. Don't forget, if you don't want to get stuck with those people, you can go down to the Fremont Street Experience. Now, the Fremont Street Experience is a paid event, and they'll shove about 20,000 people into that little 4-block area. It gets fun. I mean, it's Vegas, okay? Paid parking, jacked up resort fees, all of that bullshit. It's still Vegas. And if there's one thing Vegas knows how to do, it's party. We know how to throw a party. And New Year's Eve just proves we know how to throw a party. It's an amazing thing here. All right. It really is an amazing thing. All right. Now, once we get done partying, America's party on the West Coast, we clean up. Vegas Strip goes back to normal. On January 3rd and 4th, the Consumer Electronics Show, the 50th anniversary, CES 2017. The 3rd and 4th are what's called Media Days. That's when we, the media, get to go in and play. Also, that's kind of when they go over the statistics of what has changed over the last year. The big deal is January 5th through the 8th. That's when it is open to all of the attendees, and we'll have about 150,000 people here. And like I said earlier, the rooms here just skyrocket, and apparently they get more expensive here than during New Year's Eve. So, if you ever look at a calendar and go, okay, you're looking at rooms and it's going $69 a night, $69 a night, $69 a night, $600 a night, $600. That's because Consumer Electronics Show is in town. CES. I remember coming here for the first time in the 1980s. Now, back then, the Consumer Electronics Show actually had 2 shows. They had one in the summer in Chicago, and one in Vegas here in the winter. This was my thawing out party. It's actually called the Global Consumer Electronic Trade Show. They've been really trying to push us away from calling it the Consumer Electronics Show, which is what CES stands for, because it's consumers, it's electronics. Actually, the consumers are not allowed. This is trade only. We get to go in and see what's new in the world of electronics. And the sister show to this here in Vegas used to be Comdex, where you had the computers. That was what was started by Sheldon Adelson. Well, now that the computer is basically in everything we touch now, Comdex went away and we got left with CES. And then because of the cost of having two shows, they said, look, let's just have one, make it in Vegas. Much better than having it in Chicago. All right. And this is kind of a scary thing because I don't care how new your electronics are, can go in there with the newest, hippest smartphone and you'll look at what's coming out, what these manufacturers have coming down the pipeline, and you're just going to think that you have, a flip phone. Okay. I remember going in there with the first VHS camera, the camcorder, and thinking that was really cool. And then you walk in there and they've got this thing that's the size of your hand. It's just like, wow. But back then, consumer electronics changed very slowly. And every year there is something that is the product of the year. Now, this is one show that Apple doesn't go to. And like the year the iPhone came out, the big thing was iPhone compatible products. All these new gadgets that were iPhone compatible. All right. Last year, two years ago, it was drones. Drones were really cool. Last year, drones were like, yeah, whatever. Last year was more the beginning of the now 4K paper thin screens, TVs, things like that. Virtual reality gaming was really huge. Things like that. This year, virtual reality is going to be the number one thing. That is what's going to be on everyone's mind is what's happening in the virtual reality bit area. Last year, Amazon Echo came out, and they were showing that off, and that was pretty cool. So this year it's more of that. The driverless car, Uber's working on one, Google's working on one. Rumor has it that Apple might be working on one. Now, this is not just the driverless car. This is just not virtual tech. This is not just whatever. This is, they will show how this interacts with our lives, the peripheral technology next to it, how to sync everything up, and how this is going to work with the other technologies that are there. Wearables are going to be really big this year, but I'm still going towards the virtual reality part. Wearables, your Fitbits, things like that. Of course, our artificial technology is going to be big. And then finally, kind of wrapping this all up, is the cloud and what they call the Internet of Things. More stuff is going to the cloud. More of our technologies and productivity tools are coming from the cloud. Going back to, like my Amazon Echo, okay? I can play my music. I can have it operate things in my house. I can have it start my car. I can have it check on weather in Zimbabwe. It can do all, but it sits on my desk, and everything that it takes to operate that comes from the cloud. And, so more things are going to come from, quote unquote, the cloud. Now, I remember, I always have fun with this. When I first started to come to CES, now CES takes over the entire convention center, all 4 million square feet of that. It takes over the Sands Convention Center, which is attached to the Venetian and the Palazzo. It takes over a lot of their suites, a lot of private and by invite only events happen in the big suites there. It takes over part of the Cosmopolitan. It'll take over some other convention spaces in like Treasure Island and other hotels. That's how big this thing is. Okay, I mean it literally consumes the Vegas Strip. And I've got some photos up on my website that shows what's going on outside the convention center. They build these huge tents and buildings outside the convention center. And so for those of you that are like, why do they ever have to tear down the Riviera? This is why. We're having more and more shows like this coming to Vegas that need the space. It's kind of like when we were talking about the stadium. The dome stadium. Well, it's only going to be used for 8 games. No, it's not. Conventions like CES are going to bleed over into the convention center or into the dome stadium. More events are going to be tied to CES that can happen with a dome stadium, with T-Mobile Arena, with all of this other stuff that's being built. But most importantly, as much as I hate to say it, they needed the Riviera. They needed that footprint right there. Okay, so, but back then, the Adult Video News Awards show, otherwise known as the Porn Convention, happened at the same time as CES, and it'd be so funny to see these guys in Brooks Brothers suits, trying to not look like they were interested in the porn stars that were walking by. All of the computer geeks would just line the hallway at the Sands, and they would just drool all over that carpet because the porn stars would walk down that hallway, and they'd strut their stuff. And back then, your badge to get you into CES would get you into the porn show. And then I think 3 or 4 years ago, they separated the two. Now, the porn convention happens later in January, and it's over at the Hard Rock, and it's just turned into just horrible over there. It's just a horrible show. Now that it's pulled away from the Consumer Electronics Show, from CES, it's just a pathetic sausage fest, basically. But it's January 18th through the 21st at the Hard Rock. So those links will be up on the website at thevegastourist.com. Now, we're going to talk about the monorail, because when you have events like like New Year's Eve, when you have events like CES, you have these major conventions. Now, most of the major conventions will have transportation. They will have shuttles going from all of the hotels to the convention center and all that. But there's always a line there. So it's sometimes more convenient, faster, friendlier, easier to jump on the monorail. To me, that is the primary purpose I have for the monorail, is it gets me to the convention center easier and faster. No matter where I park, I can just jump on the monorail and go. There it is. Now, the monorail opened back in July of 2004. Previous to that, a lot of you Vegasites, Vegas tourists, will remember there used to be a monorail, and it was actually the monorail from Disneyland that was retired. Some of the cars that they retired, the MGM bought and then put onto this monorail that ran strictly from MGM to Bally's. That was it, back and forth. No other stops. That was it, and it was free. Well, some political folks got together and said, hey, we need something like that the whole length of the Strip. So starting in 2000, they formed this nonprofit, tax-free, tax-based, whatever, this jumbled political corporation, and they got the monorail built. What is now the Las Vegas monorail, which starts at the MGM and goes up to the SLS and makes 7 stops. And they charge for it. Some folks say it's too much. When they first opened it up, it was free because they wanted to test it, and they wanted to see, how many people would use it, because it's on the back side of the Strip, not on the front side of the Strip. Like, the original idea was to put it down Vegas Boulevard, but Steve Wynn said, ain't happening, folks. And so they moved it behind. There were plans originally to take it down to the airport. But the taxi cab mafia said, no, you're not touching our gravy train. So it did not go down there. Last I was told, the last reports that I was informed of is they've got the land. They just now need A, the money, and B, the permits from the FAA to do it again. So the Monorail Corporation, as you'll hear in the interview, said, hey, what if we take it now that there's good plan? It looks like a 99% chance that we're going to have the Dome Stadium. Let's put the monorail down, take it down to the Mandalay Bay. And so that's kind of what they're working on now. Now, originally it was also supposed to go downtown, but it got derailed because at that time Carl Icahn owned the Stratosphere, and that was going to be the connector from the Sahara to Stratosphere to downtown. Stratosphere was going to build a station down there, and Carl Icahn at about that same time was also trying to get this ride built on the outside of the Stratosphere. It started out as King Kong climbing up and down, and then it became a roller coaster, and both times the city said, ain't happening. And then all of a sudden, the monorail vanished. The idea of a monorail stop at the Stratosphere vanished. So they just never took it downtown. So now it starts out it goes from the MGM to Bally's Paris, to the Flamingo Caesar stop, to the Harrah's Link stop, to the Convention Center. That gap right there is really cool because it goes around the Wynn Golf Course. And if you want a photo of the Wynn Golf Course, get it now because next year is probably going to be gone. Then it stops at the Convention Center, and then a short gap to Westgate, which used to be the Hilton, and then it ends at the SLS, and then just across the street from the SLS is their barn. So there it is. Currently, the single ride prices for the monorail are $5. A unlimited for 1 day is $12, and unlimited for 2 days is $22. Locals, $1 a ride. You can buy 2 rides each day, or you can buy one 20-ride ticket every 10 days. And they are $1 each. So, without further ado, I will turn you over to Jennifer Breed, Las Vegas territory member and sales and marketing manager for the Las Vegas Monorail. Of course, the links are up on the website. Please come back after the interview, ladies and gentlemen. Jennifer Breed, Las Vegas Monorail. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Mark Anthony, the VegasTourist.com podcast, and I'm sitting with Jennifer Breed, the Director of Sales and Marketing at Las Vegas Monorail, and she is a Las Vegas territory member. How you doing?
I'm very well. How are you?
Doing good. You're from Ohio.
I am originally born and raised and from Ohio, and my family still resides there.
Is that your alumni, or?
I went to Otterbein College, which was just outside of Columbus, Ohio. So,
cool.
Yeah.
And you've been down here for 7 years?
I have been here for 7 years now.
All right. Yes. Got out of that snow and ice.
I know, and I'm already, every year I tell myself I'm not going to go back in December because it's cold to the bone.
Yep.
And every year I still go back in December and then complain about it later. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
I just go up to Mount Charleston. That's for about 10 or 15 minutes.
And that's enough, right?
Yep,
And you can throw a few snowballs, do some snow angels, and then
go back to the lodge, have a hot toddy, and we're good to go.
Yes.
The Las Vegas Monorail, when did they start that?
So we actually officially opened the Las Vegas Monorail system in July of 2004. We talked a little bit about The original system, which just was a connector between the MGM property, so it went from MGM just to Bally's. But then in actually 2000, the nonprofit was established for the Las Vegas Monorail Company, and then we officially opened on July 15th of 2004.
Cool. Now, the big question: why is it not going to the airport?
Oh, of course you would ask that question.
Of course.
There's a lot of reason for why it is not going to the airport. And right now, our focus really is still continuing to maintain that connectivity within the resort corridor. Our focus is right now an expansion that is focused on Mandalay Bay, one of the second largest convention centers in Las Vegas.
And going to be right next to the new Dome Stadium. So
potentially, right?
Yeah,
so that's really where our focus is. It's not that we don't have an end-all plan to eventually get ourselves to the airport, but it's just not the focus at the moment.
Wow, you're good at that one.
I don't know. I don't know.
Vegas politics,
Yes.
That's just it. Vegas politics is the reason it's not going to downtown, because of what happened at the Stratosphere. That Carl Icahn, when he owned the Stratosphere, wanted that big ass monkey to go up the side of the building, and when the city said no, he said, "Fine, I'm not going to do the monorail." And I was like, "Okay." It's like, wow. So.
Well, there is a lot of misconception about the monorail, about why we do or do not go to certain places, but we actually work very closely with all of the transportation entities in Las Vegas. And in fact, we are part of a transportation infrastructure committee that was formed to really look at Vegas overall and what we all need to do to come together to increase that connectivity and to increase that infrastructure, so that as visitor volume increases, we can move those people around. So monorail is part of those plans, and it's not to say the airport is never part of that plan. It's just not our focus
Right now. Going to Mandalay Bay, are you going to have like a separate track, or is it just going to be a continuation from MGM?
It would be a continuation from MGM, from where our switchback is located, which is on Tropicana Avenue. We are still refining and determining the exact alignment. But as it stands, it looks that it would wrap around Koval, and then where it would actually cross Las Vegas Boulevard would be at Hacienda there, cross Las Vegas Boulevard, and dump into the shops at Mandalay Place.
Cool.
Again, don't take my word for it, because this is a project
off.
Right now, and nothing is confirmed.
No.
So that's just where we are right now with those
all right.
plans.
There was talk about kind of looping it up behind, like on Frank Sinatra Boulevard and all that. Is that like somewhere in dreamland?
There's so many things, right? There's so many discussions. People want us to expand to the airport. People want us to expand to downtown, or loop around, or create a full circle. And all I can say is, again, I know where our company is primarily focused at the moment, but it's not to say that we don't entertain those, or that we don't look into them or research them.
How many people can ride on them?
Well, to give an overview, we carry just over 5 million riders a year.
Wow, okay.
Each train, so we have 9 trains. Each train carries approximately 240 passengers.
Right.
So some of our biggest convention days, let's say when we're talking CES, or even events like the Las Vegas Marathon or New Year's Eve, when the Strip is shut down to the rest of traffic, we can see upwards of 40,000 riders a day.
Wow. Is there plans to change the hours on it?
That is something we do look at. We do adjust our hours during key time periods, or during big events, such as the marathon, such as New Year's Eve. This New Year's Eve, we will be open 24 hours to service those customers.
Cool. All right. Again, going back to expanding to Mandalay Bay, that means you're going to be needing more cars.
I I am not part of those development plans, so that's something I cannot necessarily comment on that.
Yeah, it's just I see where the barn is. I'm sitting there going, they don't need more barn, which is a good thing. Which is a good thing. What would you say is the number one reason people use the monorail?
Well, we may not be the reason. I always like to say we're not the reason that people visit Las Vegas.
No.
We're not a main destination or a main attraction.
Right.
But what we're able to do is we're able to provide connectivity and deliver the Las Vegas Strip to our customers.
Right.
So people that are coming in and want to experience everything that the city has to offer, whether it's dining, entertainment, gaming, nightlife, we're able to get those people around very quickly and efficiently. It takes just 15 minutes to get from one end of our system to the other. So people are able to avoid wasting time sitting in traffic and congestion. It's just a very convenient way to connect to everything in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I know when I get guests that, and they're like, okay, they like the double decker deuces, but evenings, afternoons, it's just packed, and then you got the strip traffic. I'm like, monorail.
And it's climate controlled, so you're not, standing outside in 114 degree weather waiting. Our trains arrive every 4 to 8 minutes, so there's never a long wait, and you're going to get where you need to go very quickly.
Since you're in sales and marketing, how are the advertisers liking, being able to wrap a monorail?
Hey, that's great visibility, and
No
it's
kidding.
such a unique way to advertise, right? And if you've got an entire monorail with all this visibility around the resort corridor, it's definitely something that people enjoy to do. But we also have a lot of other really unique opportunities just along the system that people get excited about. We do a lot of activations on our stations. They're just really unique.
You do?
Mm-hmm. So we've had runway shows on busy platforms, entertainers, things like that. So people get very excited about reaching those key time periods and getting their brand immersed.
Yes.
And so we're very unique when it comes to advertising. It's not your traditional advertising.
Definitely not. Well, I mean, I'm a tour guide. Mm-hmm. And, so like when I bring folks back in, we come down Paradise and we're, stopped at the stoplight and all my guests are like, cool, UFC is in town. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, and you're right, because it's a billboard that is not blocked by anything. Mm-hmm. The interesting thing is when the monorail was first put in, there wasn't much activity going on off the strip, off that corridor. Mm-hmm. But now you've got stuff going on Koval, you've got stuff going on Paradise, you've got stuff building outward. So now, when you do ride the monorail, you actually have something to look at. Mm-hmm. I mean, they have redone the link, mm-hmm. which is really beautiful.
And that construction process was awesome to watch from the monorail because we had such an amazing vantage point of watching that high roller be constructed and go mm-hmm. up. So,
and then and then for a lot of us, that's the only chance we're ever going to get to see the Wynn Golf Course. Mm-hmm. That's as close to the golf course as I'll ever get. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I use it a lot for the convention and for Westgate, and it is also very convenient. Again, going back, not being gridlocked in strip traffic, jump on the monorail, mm-hmm. go up to SLS. Mm-hmm. You got that station back open again. What are the hours right now?
We are open on Mondays. Well, we open every day at 7 a.m. On Mondays, we're open from 7 a.m. until midnight. During the week, we are open until 2 a.m. And then on weekends, we're open until 3 a.m.
Wow, okay. What is the general reaction from first-timers using it?
A lot of times people are just, there's a lot of comments of how clean, how convenient, how safe.
How safe. Yes.
We have great customer service staff, great security on our stations. We even have a canine unit. So people are really that first experience is exciting to them.
Yes.
And then they maybe pick up a map or they're riding the system and they see, oh my goodness, I didn't realize I could get to all of these things on this system.
That's probably the biggest thing I get. You know, well, where does it go? Okay, it's got 7 stops, but they're 7 strategically placed. I got to say that they are strategically placed.
So yes, we have 7 stops directly connected to 8 resort properties, as well as the Las Vegas Convention Center. Yes, you do have to walk through the actual property to get to Las Vegas Boulevard, but that also gives an experience all in itself, because customers have the opportunity to get off at that Bally's Paris station and walk through and see that property. And so I think that is a benefit.
It is, you know, and one of the funny things that I always get from locals on my website is, you know, I think the locals forget why they came here, why they moved here. What was it like when you were a tourist? You got to look at this from a tourist standpoint, not, yes, you can go to the Galleria and go right in. This is not, you're a tourist, you're not a local, you're a tourist. You want to experience the Vegas experience. You want to see the link. You want to see the big wheel. You want to see the Wynn Golf Course. You want to get from one end of the strip to the other and not go through 10 million stoplights. What are the current rates?
Well, if we talk from a local standpoint, locals can actually ride for $1. So you can purchase up to 2 single rides a day or a 20 ride pack. And so you show your Nevada ID, and we really do want to make sure that our locals get to experience the system. For regular tickets, so our unlimited ride passes start at $12 for 24 hours, and we go upwards up to 7-day unlimited ride passes.
Cool.
And our single ride retail for our leisure customers or our convention customers is $5.
Okay. What do other communities that have monorails, what do they say about ours? Do they have you ever been compared to, you know?
Well, our system is so very unique. We are one of the only, if the only, privately owned public transportation system. We are a nonprofit, so that's a very, very unique system. So there's not a direct comparison you can give to,
all right. Okay.
You know.
Well, I do know, like, when I go to Disneyland,
right?
You know, it's like, well, okay, this is kind of like ours, but not quite.
Well,
I like ours.
I think a lot of people do compare it to, let's say, Disney, but
Light rail.
And light rail. I would say the other the differences between our system is that we are really it's a very intricate high-tech system that, you know, we're fully automated, we're driverless, we provide all these environmental benefits.
Yes.
So that is unlike other public transportation systems.
Totally true. There are times that I'll be, you know, standing there and it's like totally automated, everything. It's just, you know, and you know, I hate to go back to Disneyland, but you know, that's more point A, point B. This is, you know, this has the stops. This has, you know, thousands of guests. So, yeah, you know, I can only imagine what the programming of that is like. You know, the tech side of me is going. I'd hate to be the guy going, okay, stop 1, 7 minutes. Okay, you know, okay, door open, door closed, lights on, lights off. Wow. Yeah, so cool. What is the projection? There is no projection for Mandalay Bay yet.
Not yet. It's still it's a project that we're working on. Yeah. I'm sure you'll hear more and more about it as plans develop.
Well, that and there's a lot of stuff up in the air at that end of the strip anyway. All of that open land down there now that the commercial value is coming back. You know, Vegas is once again not booming, but we are growing.
And the exciting part for the monorail is we're part of those conversations,
Yes.
and that's important because, people that are planning these projects are looking to build things, whether it is in an arena or a stadium or just different entertainment venues. The monorail is part of that overall plan or conversation of
Right.
how we're going to get all these people and there quickly and easily.
Well, I know I have seen the preliminary drawings for the new convention center expansion and the transportation hub there. And I got to say that if they build what I saw, that's going to be an amazing little hub. And you guys are like, you're the centerpiece of that whole hub on all the shuttles and and everything else there. So that's cool.
And we really look to being that connection, the convention connection. For example, if we do expand to Mandalay Bay, or if someday we expand to Sands Expo, the benefit of that to the city of Las Vegas and to our community is that we can then we can start competing globally for shows that we now have the room for.
Right.
So it's all really good stuff and really great conversations, and we're really excited that people are talking about it.
Well, it's interesting because, I get to deal with a lot of international tourists, and they look at that going, wow, they see America as a lot of them anyway, that we're not building the communities, the interactivity, and then they see the monorail and they're just like, no, that's cool. They've got it going, because over there they have all of the community transportations. They got the light rails and all, and they got the bus systems and all that. So so I can see how this is an international. Here we are. Look at us. We, look at what we have, what nobody else has. So, all right. If someone was to ask you, a first-time Vegas tourist, what are 3 things that you think every Vegas tourist should do other than ride the monorail?
Yeah, because of course that was going to be my first answer.
That's right.
Hello. Oh my goodness. Well, I think you have to see a show. I mean, we have top-notch entertainment in this city. Whether you're into Cirque du Soleil or you want to see Donnie and Marie, or a magic show.
There it is.
There's everything.
Right.
So I think you need to see a show.
Okay.
I think you need to eat because you've got tons of celebrity chefs, just tons of restaurants of all calibers. So you gotta go eat.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. And then you need to at least experience Las Vegas Boulevard at night under the lights and really take in the glitz and glamour. Those would be my 3 top recommendations.
I like them. Now you've only been here 7 years. Have you seen a lot of change in those items in those 7 years?
I've seen, yes. I mean, it seems that every time you turn around, someone's renovating or construction is going on, or new venues are opening.
You came here in 2009, 2010?
2009.
Right as everything crashed.
Yes. So it's been upward and onward and very exciting.
You must have been going, what in the world did I just do?
A little bit, but I still,
But I can see it now, because if you came here at the bottom, this is all,
Right.
Yeah, this is totally exciting to you.
It's exciting, and I think there is, especially amongst the travel and tourism industry, we have a very community feel. We're all very tight-knit. We want to help each other out. We all want to see each other succeed. And so it's been a really, really positive environment. Even back from 2009, where we all looked to each other to say, how can we help each other survive this? Even to now, celebrating each other's success.
Yes.
So it's been a really, really positive experience.
I haven't heard someone put it that way, but yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. Hidden gem, other than the monorail.
Hidden gem. Ooh.
You have like a favorite pizza place? You're like, what? Why doesn't everyone know about this? Or
well, I keep those places to myself so they don't get busy. Let's see. I'm sorry. I'm like thinking. There's a couple great Thai restaurants, I will say, because I'm a Thai food fanatic.
Okay.
So you've got Lotus of Siam, which is in a very unique location. It's off the beaten path, very, very traditional. It's kind of a must try if you like Thai food. You've also got Le Thai, which is downtown Fremont Street area, which is another really small establishment, always packed, always fantastic. So I'm a food person, so if you tell me hidden gems, I'll tell you all the cool food places to go check out.
I'll be calling you up.
Yeah.
What do you think of that whole Fremont East revival?
I think that's been fantastic, and that I've seen a lot of change since 2009 as well, where, you kind of I didn't quite feel comfortable always going down there.
Yep.
And now there's just so many great things to do and see, and it's, eclectic, and it's old Vegas, but it's still got that new vibe, hip vibe to it. Great restaurants, great bars and places to go, and it's still great people watching. That'll never go away.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah.
That's all Vegas is.
Yeah.
Greatest free show on earth.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Favorite Vegas show?
MJ1 by Cirque du Soleil.
Okay.
I've always been a huge Michael Jackson fan. I've seen the show 3 times now.
Really?
I could see it 7 more times at least. I love it. There's always something new to see or to catch, and I feel that they really paid homage to Michael Jackson. So that's my favorite show.
Cirque du Soleil. Anytime you see one of their shows, you just look and going, how many drugs were they on when they came up with that? They are all just very, very creative folks. I love it. Well, then you sit there and go, where did they find that person that can do that?
Right.
My wife has lived here for 30 years. We've been married 4 years now. She's never seen a Cirque du Soleil show. Took her to Mystere.
Okay.
I said, okay, this is the original. This is the best. Watch it. And it was just so funny because she's watching the stage. I'm like, sweetheart, it's everywhere. Look around. Wow. Like,
that's why you can keep seeing them over and over, and you'll catch
something
different
new
elements.
every time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. I have not seen that. I have not seen one yet, but it's on my list. So, Favorite Vegas movie?
Ooh, well, I'm going to give a couple.
Okay.
Ocean's 11.
The original?
You gotta go. I'm more of the Brad Pitt.
Okay, all right.
So Ocean's 11, and you have to say Hangover in there because that just
Thank you.
is a hilarious. Yes, so Hangover.
Did Caesar really stay here? Yeah. I love that movie. So cool. All right. How do they find out more information about the Las Vegas Monorail?
Well, you can find out more information on our website at lvmonorail.com.
Oh, so easy.
You can also follow us on social media at LV Monorail, again, Twitter and Facebook. And that's how you find the latest and greatest updates.
Any parting words for our listeners?
Actually, something unique and new to this year is we are hosting our very first ever New Year's Eve event we have a 10,000 square foot private event space at our convention center station, and we decided to finally deck it out. There's great panoramic strip views where you can catch the fireworks, but inside, we're going to have entertainment and unlimited wine and beer and food, and it's going to be a great time. So that's also something that people can find more information at lvmonorail.com under the events tab, and that's going to be a really great time.
Cool. All right. Well, Jennifer, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much for the information.
You're very welcome.
welcome back. I want to thank Jennifer for her time, her hospitality, and her information. It's always fun to catch up on what is in the pipeline for future Vegas tourist activities and things like that. And the monorail has always been, it's got its fair share of issues and problems, but, for getting around from one end to the strip to the other, it's always, it definitely beats being stuck in Vegas traffic and having to hassle with the bus or whatever it is, okay? So, as always, I want to hear from you, your questions, your comments. Like this podcast, subscribe to the podcast, visit us on all of our social media websites, or just hit us up on the mothership, which is thevegastourist.com. Have yourself a wonderful New Year's. We're going to be busy with Consumer Electronics Show, so look for a lot of those updates as well coming into the new year. And as always, the new year always brings some wonderful changes. So until then, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Mark Anthony for Miss Debbie. We wish you a happy and prosperous new year, and we will see you next year.
It's getting